Hi, I'm Terry and I'm nuts about stamping. I'm back today with another Sundays with Sizzix project. It's a thank you card that I created using my Big Shot and the Kindness Matters stamp set. So let's get started. I have a piece of Whisper White cardstock that I've cut 8.5 by 5.5. I laid it on my Simply scored it at the 4 1/4 mark, and that creates the crease line for my card front. The next thing I have is a piece of Whisper White cardstock that's cut 4 1/4 by 3 1/4. You don't really need to worry about writing down the measurements right now. I'm going to have all of that over on my blog after the video tutorial is over. I've taken my Fancy Fan folder. I'm going to put the cardstock inside the folder, open end going through my Big Shot. I have my platform, bottom standard cutting pad, my Fancy Fan folder with the cardstock inside, top standard cutting pad, and I'm going to run it through my Big Shot. I've got the platform on tab 1. There we go. And that will emboss the layer for the front of my card, like so. It's beautifully embossed. Then I have a piece of soft suede cardstock that I've cut just ever so slightly larger than the Whisper White cardstock. I think it's about 1/4 inch larger. And then I'm going to bring my snail adhesive in. I'm going to lay this on top of my soft suede cardstock and butt up the left-hand side like so, so that they both line up together on this side. I'm going to bring in my card base, and eventually I'm going to lay it on top like that. But before I do, I have a piece of linen thread that I'm going to cut to go around my folder. So I'm just going to measure it, bring in my ribbon cutting scissors. I'm going to flip my layer over, put just a couple of strips of snail adhesive, and I'm going to start my thread, run it across, and turn it over. And then you can sort of adjust it before you adhere this layer onto the top of the card. Right, so I've got that. I'm going to turn my soft suede layer over. I'm going to bring in my card front, and again I'm going to align my layer so that it's right on the left edge of my card front, like that. Then the next thing I'm going to do is bring in a piece of scrap Whisper White cardstock and my decorative label punch, and I'm going to punch. See if I can fit this on. I like to use up all my scraps whenever I can. There we go. Punch that out. And then I'm going to bring in the thanks from my Kindness Matters stamp set. And I'll be back in a moment because I need to get a clear block for my thanks image to adhere to, and I can see that I don't have one in front of me. Back in a second. So I'm going to adhere the thanks image to clear block B, and I'm going to, just going to straighten it out a little bit. There we go. I'm going to take my soft suede marker, ink it up, and I'm going to stamp it in the center of my decorative label punched out image. And the next thing I'm going to do is bring in my paper piercing mat and my paper piercing tool. And I'm going to bring in my Essentials paper piercing pack. I've got this scallop oval, and it's got some holes that are punched just ever so smaller. So I'm going to lay my mat on, and then just following the guide, I'm going to paper pierce holes all the way around my image with the thanks in the center of it. And this just adds a decorative touch. It's very quick and easy to do, and it really draws the eye to the image that you've got stamped, which is the whole purpose of the card, is to create a thank you card. There we go. Perfect. All right, and then I'm going to put a Stampin' Dimensional on either side of the holes, like so. If you press in with the center of your thumbnail, it creates a ridge and it's easy to peel off the little tails. I'm going to adhere that onto the front of my card like that. And then I'm going to bring in some scrap Whisper White cardstock, another piece, and I have my Elegant Butterfly Punch. I'm going to punch a butterfly image. I'm going to put a Stampin' Dimensional on one side of the wings so that my butterfly gets some lift off, like so. And then the last thing I have is an embellishment. I have my designer vintage faceted buttons. And what I did before the video started was I threaded some linen thread on like a darning needle, and I put it through the holes in the button. And to complete the project, what I'll do is I will take my mini glue dots, put a mini glue dot on the back of the button, and adhere the button on the front of the card to complete my thank you card. For a complete listing of the supplies and the measurements for the layers of the cardstock for this card project, please hop on over to my blog, www.nutzaboutstamping.com. While on my blog, you'll see a close-up photo of this card. You can see a lot of other project ideas. Make sure you're a newsletter subscriber. I send out 2 free customer newsletters a month with lots of other project ideas. You can place an order using the ordering button on my blog, or you can ask me a question. I'm Terry. I am Nuts About Stamping. See you next time. Bye for now.